Hello and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I am here and in person, but I'm here to talk about Fuma and the Ponytown 37Z mystery. We've learned more things about Ponytown 37Z, we've learned more about this Fuma character, and we've even gotten some new characters in this strange 37Z mystery. This is like part 3 of this saga. If you're interested in hearing more about this, I have 2 other videos about this subject. I highly recommend watching those because there's a lot of information here that you may be confused by otherwise, because there is all kinds of messages and stuff, and I'm not going to recap all the messages. I just want to talk about the messages that we got recently. I want to talk about all the new things and not necessarily recap things. So I highly recommend going seeing those first. I will leave a link to them in the card. There's a card up here somewhere, and you can click on that and it will bring you to it. I will try to make a playlist for this as well, so hopefully I'll remember to make a playlist for the whole party, the 37Z mystery and everything like that. And yeah, so with that out of the way, let's jump into this. So as I mentioned, there's some new characters, but before I get into that, I do want to point out a couple of new messages that we've gotten from Fuma and everything. So one of these messages are, I already proved my power once, hashtag Ponytown37Z, and the other one is, if I had wings and magic, it would be a breeze, hashtag Ponytown37Z. Now, these messages are really interesting because they seem to contradict each other in a small way, because one of them is like, oh, I had power. The other one acts like he doesn't have magic or power at all. It's very strange, and from what we've gathered so far from his quest and everything like that, and this, we're talking about Fuma here, all the quests we've gotten and everything from him, he seemed mostly helpless and unable to really do much on his own. For example, he couldn't even find fruit on his own. He couldn't find carrots on his own to complete his potion or whatever, which we may talk about in a minute. He hasn't been able to find his locket and then realize that it was in his beard the entire time. There's all kinds of like things like that, and he seems mostly defenseless in a way. And I've noticed after hearing this thing about him not having wings or magic, or hoping that he had magic and wings to be a breeze or whatever, I think Fuma just can't use magic. If you've noticed, none of his quests he's ever used magic before. Now, he mentioned, making a potion and everything like that, but maybe he didn't need his magic to do that. Maybe he can do that without his magic. I don't know, but so far he hasn't done anything magical. He is a unicorn, so you would think that he would have magic, but he hasn't really ever used his horn. And I bring this up too because there is a quest that I've done specifically that you have him, he's kind of out there in the middle of the night, and he asks you to bring him a light source. For whatever reason, he doesn't just use his own horn to light up the area to keep himself, lit so he can read his book or whatever it was that he needed. So it's almost like he can't use magic or something, and that's why he asks you to go get a lamp or a lantern or whatever, and then he finds out that, oh, this is the wrong book. Silly me. It seems like he's unable to use magic, and I think this one right here, I think the message, if I had wings and magic, it would be a breeze, I think that's a direct hint or a direct saying like, hey, I don't have magic, I wish I had magic, I wish I had wings, because then everything would be a breeze. I would be able to complete these quests on my own without any trouble. So I think Fuma is magically challenged, if you will. He's not able to use magic for whatever reason, and this may tie into the whole of these other characters and stuff that I'm going to talk about next. So there's even more characters involved in this strange 37Z saga now. We have like 5 full characters now. If you count Fuma himself, there's 5 characters now. So you have Fuma, of course, the one we've been doing all these quests for. There's this strange hooded figure with red eyes. There is Pom Pulse, which is a orangish, yellowish character with green hair and everything like that. They have a pumpkin for a cutie mark and everything else. Then there is another character that is 37Z prompt message. It just gives prompts and stuff like that, and it's like all black and it kind of floats and stuff. And then there is another one. It is an anagram for mindless. It is like MNDLISE or something like that. And if you rearrange those letters, you get mindless out of it pretty easily. It's like I immediately saw it when I looked at it that it said mindless, and I was like, wait, no, that doesn't say mindless. That's something else. So there's this character as well, and they're mindless, and I think that's a hint to something else that's going on, but we'll get to that character later. I want to go by, through each character and talk about each one individually so that we can get through all of them. So starting off with this hooded figure, I don't know anything about him. I don't know his name or anything like that. I think it was just like random letters and numbers and stuff like that ending with 37Z. So we know he's involved in everything like that. This character is introduced when you do a quest for Fuma, who asks you, hey, can you guide me to the caves? It's dangerous to travel alone, something like that. And he asks for you to guide him to the caves. You guide him towards the caves, but at the cave entrance, somewhere around the cave entrance, a hooded figure will appear and challenge you. They bring out like a crowbar or a saw or some other tool, and they will attempt to, they basically just ask you to hand over their old pony or whatever. They say, hey, hand over the old pony if you want to live, and essentially if you do it, the quest just ends, and if you don't do it, if you defend the old pony and you attack this hooded figure and the hooded figure attacks you, eventually the hooded figure will disappear, and Fuma himself will say, thank you for protecting me or whatever like that. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but I can't answer any of that. Stay wise. And then he says something along the lines of, they must be onto me, hashtag Ponytown 37Z. So there is another character involved that this hooded figure is. My theory is that something happened to Fuma somewhere for him to get involved in some strange group or some strange cult or some other thing, and he had to leave and find a new home because he seems very unfamiliar with this entire area, this entire territory. I would call it the PT continent. You could call it the PT continent, and he seems very unfamiliar with the PT continent. He seems to have come from somewhere far away, perhaps even Yundu Tower, because he mentions it himself. He says he hates it, but that could have been because he was driven out of that place. It could have been for something else, but something happened somewhere else, and he had to leave, and he went to the PT continent, and now whoever he was involved with has found him and has been trying to attack him, and that's what's going on with this hooded figure. That's what my theory is for what this is. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what's going on. I would love to hear your comments, your theories, and everything like that on what this hooded figure is in the comments below, as well as any other theories you have on the Ponytown 37Z saga and everything. So next up we have Pom Pulse. Now Pom Pulse is a very, 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 very interesting one. Pom Pulse seems to be some kind of love interest or something like that. I don't know what's going on with that. But essentially Fuma will ask you to deliver something to Pom Pulse, and he'll just mention like, hey, she likes pumpkins, so she's probably around some pumpkins. You can go to the pumpkin patch, she'll be there. She'll be very upset the fact that Fuma has sent you to her, and she will tell you to tell Fuma to not just give up trying to get her back, because no matter what you do, you're never going to get Pom Pulse back. If you take that message and you deliver it to Fuma, Fuma will say that's what she thinks, and then he'll poof away, and then Pom Pulse will whisper a new message to you, and this message is, stay away from Fuma, he's nothing but trouble, hashtag Ponytown 37Z. Now this is very interesting because this definitely seems to, there's some kind of history going on with these two characters. Who knows what's going on between these two characters, but something is definitely going on between these two characters. I think there's some kind of love interest there. It could be like a daughter or a granddaughter or something like that who he did wrong and is trying to make it right, and then she just doesn't want to forgive him. It could be something like that. I don't know for sure, but it kind of looks a little bit like a love interest, especially when you get into this next part. And this one is where it gets really interesting because another NPC is involved in this one. So essentially you do something, a very similar quest. You deliver a flower to Pom Pulse per Fuma's request. He says, please give this to Pom Pulse. She's probably around some pumpkins. Give it to her, and yeah, that's basically it. You deliver the flower to Pom Pulse, and she's very upset that you're doing this for Fuma, and she basically warns you about Fuma or something like that. Essentially, she will ask you, hey, is there anywhere I can go that will be safe from him? And if you say yes and you take her somewhere, Fuma will be waiting for you, or Fuma will show up and basically demand that you hand over his girl, and he's upset that you took his girl and stuff like that. It's a little bit confusing because I didn't encounter it myself, but something happens here, and Fuma gets scared off, and then Pom Pulse thanks you for protecting her and everything like that, and she will leave as well. And then now comes in the 37Z prompt message character. The 37Z prompt message character will then whisper to the person that protected Pom Pulse, the one that took the Pom Pulse quest, and tell you that you can now accept quests from Pom Pulse. Which is very interesting because this means that we can probably get more information about their whole relationship and everything like that by doing quests for Pom Pulse. However, you might not be able to do quests for her if you haven't done that specific quest. So I think it was Daisy specifically who did that Pom Pulse quest, so she is probably the only one that's going to be able to do any quests for Pom Pulse. So if you want to be able to do quests for Pom Pulse, then maybe you can cheat it somehow. Maybe you can pretend to be Daisy, or maybe you can hope to, encounter the same quest as what Daisy did and get permission to start doing quests for her. So next up, and this is the last character, well, not necessarily the last one, this is kind of a little bit of a side thing with the one we just mentioned. There's the 37Z prompt message character. This one's really interesting because they're an all-black character. They kind of float. They have like just really white eyes and everything like that. It's like really big for some reason. And essentially this character just kind of floats around and it will whisper to you specific messages. For example, there was one message with this new character, this mindless OC is what I'm going to call it because it's just an anagram for mindless anyway. Mindless 37Z is a brownish character who will wait at the Pegasus Island, the little island in the middle of that giant lake. There's a quest involved with them, essentially. If you talk to Fuma, he may ask you to deliver a letter to this character, this mindless OC. If you take this letter to the mindless OC and accept the quest, a 37Z prompt message will whisper to you, hey, do you want to open that letter? And if you open the letter, then you will get to read whatever's in the letter, and then you can take a vial that's also in the letter. There's some kind of strange vial inside the letter. If you take that, I don't know what happens, but after that, you can continue to deliver the letter, and you can continue to deliver the letter or whatever. If you do that, you come back to Fuma and tell him you didn't open the letter, and that's basically the full quest. There's not really much going on there, but seems to be very important as well because this introduced another character, and they're an anagram from mindless, which is kind of scary and a little bit creepy. I don't know if that means that character is literally mindless, if they're being mind controlled, or if there's something else going on there. Just the fact that it says mindless just has me buzzing with all kinds of theories and ideas of what might be going on with that. But essentially, we don't know what this red vial is. It's just a regular vial with a red substance or something like that inside of it, some kind of red stuff, and we don't know. You can't do anything with it after you do that. After you complete this quest, all the characters just disappear. You can't really get any more information and everything like that. But this 37Z prompt message character is very interesting because they almost seem like a moderator or something for this whole thing that's going on, because they will just like give you prompt messages. It's literally a prompt message. I don't know how else to say it other than it's literally a prompt message, and it just gives you prompts and stuff like that. Hey, do you want to open that letter? Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, you can take quests for this. But there was an interesting encounter that happened very recently that I almost didn't get to fit in this video because it happened just before I recorded pretty much. That is the 37Z prompt message appeared in Ponytown, and it was accepting cheat codes. I don't know what that means, but it was essentially going around and whispering to people, hey, enter a cheat code, and you could enter different things and it would respond with the cheat code invalid or cheat code valid or whatever like that. Someone found out that if you entered the cheat code Ponytown 37Z, the 37Z prompt message will accept that, say that, hey, you unlocked a secret, do you want to look at that secret? You can look at that secret, and the secret will be a message that says it all ends at Yundu Tower. This all ends at Yundu Tower. So it was something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something along those lines. So you can apparently find cheat codes. If you see this 37Z prompt message, it will probably ask you for cheat codes, and you can enter different things. Someone else, I don't remember who it was, but someone else was just sending out the messages that we've gotten. So for example, I despise you, new tower, hashtag Ponytown37Z. They sent messages like that, and the floating 37Z prompt message would always respond with Fuma, 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 because all these messages came from Fuma. So I'm assuming that's just a way of it being like, hey, you said something that Fuma said, so that's what you get as a response. I'm assuming that's what that is, because every single time they said something like they actually thought I was a fool, or whatever, any other message that Fuma's given so far, anytime you entered any of that, it would just respond with Fuma. So I don't know what these cheat codes are going to be, but if I ever see them, I'm going to say up, up, down, down, left, right, select start, whatever it is. I'm going to enter the Konami code and see if anything happens. I doubt anything would happen, but it's funny, and it might happen. Who knows? I don't know what else to say other than this is what we know so far, and I do hope that we find out more. I do hope to see your theories in the comments as well as in Discord and everything else. I have two Discords that I want to link in the description and everything like that. The first one is for my regular Danny Ball sub server, and the other one is for this entire 37Z mystery. The 37Z mystery Discord or whatever like that is where I've been getting some of this information from, because we're all kind of grouped together and trying to organize all of this information and hopefully come up with some theories and ideas and everything like that. And there could have been something in this Discord that I just failed to see or mention, so I do recommend going there if you want to see more on the 37Z prompt message, 37Z mystery and everything like that. So if you want to see more of the mystery, if you want to learn more about the mystery, if you want to hear any more, I recommend going to that Discord. As well, you can check out mine as well, because I'm, obviously gathering information in my Discord as well, but this is the main Discord for all of this, because everyone is there specifically just for that. So there's 2 Discords in there, and I hope you enjoy, you join both. Anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I do hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please like, subscribe, share, do those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. That's not all you get, though. That's not all you get. You just get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.